Yeah, we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another conversation here at the Village Guy. Of course, those of you joining for the first time, this is the platform where we showcase people of Paarl and Wellington doing amazing things, following their dreams, working hard at their passions. And one of those people is Ilsa Oppelt. And yeah, been in the industry for very, very long. She's an award-winning actress. She's been in movies, I think best known for a role in Fishy Fashions, like back in the day, and then
Yeah.
also with Leon Schuster as well with Oh Shucks. Yeah, but we're just going to chat to her a bit about the journey. Actress journey, doing it, I think, more than 10, 12 years, if I do my sums correctly, but she'll be able to tell us more. Ilse, thank you so much for your time, madam.
Thank you, Miles. Thanks for having me. This is awesome to be here, and as a representative of Paarl, actually, which is great. And uh, you give me a great compliment, but it's a little bit more than 12 years. Fishy Fashions was first released in 2000, so it's 20 years now. Yeah,
Wow.
but a great 20 years, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, let's chat about being 20 years in the industry. I mean, what has changed? I mean, for you being at the right in front, starting very young to where you are now. I mean, what has been your biggest thing that you had to adapt to?
I would suppose. Uh, I think in our profession, it's maybe more pronounced the way fame has changed. Because when I started out, there wasn't really social media. There wasn't, cell phones were only starting to become popular. There was no Facebook and WhatsApp and all that stuff. And then within a matter of 10 years, the whole landscape of changed. Besides all the reality shows, which made real life kind of into a show, and made it much more difficult for people to distinguish between fantasy and reality, because even when they watch a reality show, they know there's a setup there. So I think that's maybe the most, um, I think the most vast, um, in my practical life, it doesn't really matter. I'm not much of a celebrity. Really, I don't deal with that in any way that's intrusive or bugging me. Profile most of the times, and I only kind of shout out when there's something really important to say or to share. And and people go, "Oh, that's so nice," and then I disappear for another 5 years. So
Yeah, I mean, tell me, has social media maybe had more negative impact on the craft, on the industry, or a more positive impact?
I think it's maybe a little bit of both. On the one hand, we can reach 1 million peeps at once, where previously that wasn't only possible. You didn't even dream that, because you're happy if 50 people come and watch your play. Now you can live stream your play to 5 million people if you feel like it, and you can reach them immediately. So in that way, it has definitely enhanced and made I think it made it tougher for actors, and not all actors are celebrities, and not all celebrities are actors. So it's made it really difficult, I think, for the people who are really there in the limelight and can't go buy a loaf of bread without without taking like an hour to first do due diligence to their profession and pose for a selfie and all of that. I think people like it because they can reach so many more people and places. But on the other hand, the anonymity makes it a harsh environment to survive in, because people hide behind anonymity and they think they own you. They can say about you what you like. You're just a commodity. You're not really a person. You're that character they fell in love with, or hate, or love, or despise, or whatever, So in that regard, I think it's tough for people, because it's a double-edged sword. We want to be recognizable, and then when we are, it's not all it's cut out to be. There's a lot of sacrifices into it, but the peeps who are really into it just for the craft, they grin and bear. And most of my friends are pretty gracious about it. I've learned from them to just be gracious about it, because there's nothing you can do. It's the way the world is. So you either roll with it, or you stay on the island like I do.
Yeah, so let's just go a bit back to a bit of your childhood. So of course you're born and bred in Paarl. Can you primary school, high school? How was the childhood? Big family, small family, sporty, not sporty? Give us a quick rundown.
Okay. We're the Oppelt from Paarl. We pretty much academics, We come from a long line of teachers all the way back to Genadendal, the first teacher college there. One of our ancestors, Nicholas Oppelt, was actually one of the first 9 colored teachers trained at the first teacher college in South Africa, in Genadendal. So yes, we are a whole long line of teachers, and I was born. My dad with teachers, and my mom became a teacher's teacher. She became a lecturer at a teaching college. So when I talk about teachers, I talk about teachers teaching teachers how to teach. I'm talking a lot of teaching. So yes, William Lloyd Primary is where I started. And then we moved to the Kalahari, where my dad and my mom my dad was the principal and the superintendent there of a hostel and a school. And there I lived till high school. We lived there in the Kalahari Woestijn. And then I came back to Klein Nederburg for high school, just before it moved from where it used to be. There where Charleston Hill is now. That used to be the old Klein Nederburg. So then it was moved to Drakenstein. And then La Rochelle, yes. I matriculated at La Rochelle Girls High, and I had a pretty cool childhood. Interesting, traveled a lot, got to see the world, really get to learn about different people and people living differently. And even though we're different, we're just all the same. We're just people. Traveling when you're young, I think it teaches you a lot about that. And the Oppelt family, they like traveling. Hulle hou van die lang pad in klein plekjes te gaan. Yeah. So yes, very happy childhood. No big issues, just normal stuff, Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, so if you were in the theater, is it something in the family? I mean, most of the people in the theater today, spend their fair share at the Frank Peterson Music Centrum. I mean, was that your childhood, more or less?
My childhood, I think, has always been dramatic, in the sense that we word people, we're writers. So the power of the word has always been like in our family. Not a lot of actors that make a living out of it, because we also grew up in a time where acting wasn't seen as a profession; it was seen as a hobby. You don't a life out of it. I definitely didn't want to make a life out of it. I was the girl who wanted to go study medicine, and then my dad told me, you must go study drama. And I'm like, you are not a real dad. That is not how life works. It works the other way around. I tell you I want to go study drama, and you say no, medicine. That's how it works. And my actually my school principal when I matriculated, Miss Longland, she's no longer Miss Longland, she's married now, also said drama. My English teachers, my Afrikaans teachers, drama. And I'm like, I have grades good enough I got into med school. So it wasn't like a thing of, that is my passion and no one's going to stop me. It was like, it was the sensible thing to do. And then I thought, okay, maybe it's a bit extreme. Maybe I'll do a pre-med where you still do BSc that gets you into med the next year, and I get a little bit of that. And then halfway through my first year, I realized I'm not in the place I'm supposed to be. And I basically switched to some drama subjects to full credits for my first year, just so that I can pass. And the first day I sat in the drama kinder class at Stellenbosch, I knew I was home. It was just like that thing where you knew you actually now where you're supposed to be. And that was the end of that. Then the next year I enrolled for drama. And yes, got my degree in drama, and that was a great call. And my dad just said, just tell me I was right. Just tell me I was right. Then I don't have to do I told you so. And then I said, yes, you were right. Definitely knew me better than I knew myself. Yes, yes.
Oh, perfect. I mean, but then when did you realize I'm actually good at this acting thing. I can make a living out of it. When was that point?
I think in high school when I started doing some serious plays and got into competitions at La Rochelle, they were very supportive because I wasn't a sporty person, but there was equal weight between sport, culture, academics. There was a really, I don't know how it is today, but when I was there was a lovely balance between all of it, and all of it got equal weight. So if you're not massive into sport, but your talent lies elsewhere, they will focus on that. They will zoom in on it, and. So I got a lot of that, and then already I knew it's something that's in me, but I was of the school. It wasn't sensible to think about making a living out of it. So, like I said, I didn't know I was going to make a living out of it until I actually sat in that class the first time. And that was not to study drama. That was just an extra credit I could get half of the year. You do some BA subjects to just fill up your credits. But when I sat there, I knew. And then, soos hulle sê, toe is die koel deur die kerk. The rest is history. Yeah.
And then, okay, so when is the first time where you in front of a crowd? I mean, like first time in front of a crowd on stage, and first time in front of the cameras, audition. Those two. When was that?
I suppose I was lucky because in your first year at drama school, you don't get to play in any place. You're the skivvy, you're the appie, you get the veilwerk, you have to earn your right to be in a play. But what they do sometimes do is when they need crowd actors, like they do a kiddie show and they've cast, but they need people to be the forest, or you have to be a tree or a flower, or they do like a big musical and you have to be in the chorus. That's usually. Then they allow first years to come and audition. So you basically come and audition to get a part where you will be saying absolutely nothing. You'll just be blending there in the background. And there were a couple of friends. Most first years weren't interested in that, and we just went, no, we're going to do it. So we were basically on stage within 6 weeks of starting our degree in our first year, and then you're on stage. It doesn't matter whether you're a tree or anything. You're part of. Actually, I must be honest. That is where we've learned the few of us who were clever enough to just seize that opportunity and have no qualms about being a rock or a tree or a town person without a name, we got to learn risk-free. You're not in the line of fire. You don't have any responsibility except knowing your choreography steps and your part in the chorus. You must just know your notes. That's all. But we got to learn risk-free. So by the time we got to do some serious acting in serious roles, there was already a basis from which we could work because we saw how the other actors were directed and what the directors wanted. We could see them make mistakes and then how they fix it. And I don't think people understand the value of what you can learn from that if you get past your ego and go, no, I'm not going to be a tree. You know, I was a Christmas tree. If you want to be a tree, you must be the best tree you can be. So they said after the stage lights went out, they could just see the tinsel still glittering. So if you're going to be a tree, be the best tree you can be. That's never look back.
And then when was your first role not being a tree, but when all eyes were on you? Like, what was that first play?
Sure. I suppose that was in my third year, in my final year. I got to play actually with Abdurrahman Adams, who you know as Ian October from Zuidooster. Him and I, we studied together, and but he was lucky. He just got awesome roles from the start. He was just popular from the start, you know. And so in our third year, I was only waking up to actually maybe I can be an actress, not just like part of the crowd. And then we got this role as a couple in a play called Blythe Spirit by Noel Coward, but it was translated into Afrikaans and it was called Die Vryerige Spook. And it was very stylistic and it was awesome, and we were directed by Blaise Koch, who was like a prolific director and performer. And he just saw something in me that I don't think I even saw in myself. And she was just unapologetic about it. He just said, I want you in my play. I want you to play this part. I think you'll be perfect for it. And then I went, oh, okay. I don't really, do you know what you're doing? And he just said, yeah, I've been around. I know my stuff. And that was it. He saw something, and that was enough for me to actually get a bit of a glimpse of who I am as a performer. Being a performer, 90% of it is actually just believing in yourself. The other 10 is what comprises the other parts, you know, skill and transcending your ego and climbing into another character's shoes and all of that. Yeah, so that was my first real performance as a student, and then my first performance as a professional performer was actually in a cabaret, also directed by Blaise Koch, the same guy, and yeah, that was shoestring theater. I think in that one production, I learned everything about the theater I needed to, how tough it is, how hard you must work, that you can create your own work, that doing your own stuff doesn't mean you can slack and give yourself a break. You work just as hard as if you're working for someone else. And I'm shedding my inhibitions. It was quite a racy cabaret, and Blaise basically just said, if you want to work in this industry, you have to get over yourself. I'm not saying you must go bare yourself and bounce around, but he's basically saying, as groentjies, I'm teaching you to get over yourself so that nothing is too difficult, so that when you don't want to do something, it's because your sensibilities are telling you it's wrong and you can trust it, not because you are shy or just no self-bewus, basically. So it doesn't look like much, and I don't think many people will remember me being in it, but for me it was, what I learned from that was invaluable. It set a pace for the rest of my career that, was a great foundation. And then Fishy Fashions was my first time in front of the camera. Like I've always been there. It felt like it.
But how did we get Fishy Fashions? Did you go for auditions and did they call you?
No, that's also Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman went to audition for Fishy Fashions because he went out into the industry after we graduated. I was still going to do my honors, but then stuff didn't work out that way. And then I realized, okay, well, I have to go out into the industry. And then I said, okay, I'll first do the theater rounds and get to know that before I have aspirations of TV and film. And then Abdurrahman said at our graduation, he's gone for this casting at Penguin Films and he put me up for this character because he thinks I'll be perfect for this character. And I go, no, 5 years theater, 5 years theater before I do film. You know, you're so stupid when you start out. You have all these things, but you don't know anything about anything. But you start somewhere and you learn. And I said, no, I'm not doing TV. And he said, actually, just go because I don't want my name to be. Ek wil hê my naam gat maak. Ek het jou nou. I suggested you, and then you don't pitch. Let's not start our careers like that. So even if you don't want to go because of my reputation. And I said, well, okay, cool, I can do that. And then I got the gig. That started my career. So I think my acting career was very serendipitous. It's like whatever I need to do next just kind of finds me. Yes, of course, I did the rounds with castings and cattle castings where like hundreds of people sit there and you're just a number and you wait hours and then you make like 3 rounds and then you don't make the final round. It's like grueling stuff. So yes, I've paid my dues there. But mostly I'm a luxury actress. I want to be called and offered a part now. Not really. I just say that because I don't want to audition. But auditions are awesome. They make you strong or they break you. It's like that. So you get to check your mettle at auditions. What can you handle? What can't you handle? Sometimes your heart's breaking, but you bring that character to that screen, and it teaches you something. All auditions teach you something. Yeah. And now I'm just a lady. Now I'm a lady of leisure. I lie on my island, wait for the call.
But I mean, if it takes you 20 years or less to be in that situation where people would rather call you than you audition, is that average? I mean, does it take that long in the acting environment to be a recognized?
Auditions never stop. You're never that good that you don't audition, and you're never that famous that you don't have to audition. Even if you're very famous, you still have to come in. And even if they offer you the part, they say, we want to play this, you must still come in for a camera test where they see if you are compatible with the other characters too. Sometimes you have someone in mind because in your mind that person's perfect. And when that person comes on camera in that particular character, you know it's not working. So you never stop auditioning. And nowadays, especially during lockdown where people couldn't audition physically, all auditions were happening via basically the World Wide Web. Everyone was sending in audition tapes, and you'd have to tape yourself at home and so on. So now it's another equalizing field. So now you can ask anyone to send in an audition tape, whether they're famous or not, because now it's an equalizer again. So yes, bottom line, you never stop auditioning if you're an actor.
Ilse, tell me, so your 20 years, what's the highlight of your 20 years? I mean, what is the one thing that really stands out for you? And what are the biggest challenges? I mean, of course, we chatted about the social media, you before, and now you in it, and just the fame as well. Give me a bit about, or give a aspiring actor just some a rundown of just 20 years of being an actress, doing your thing every single day?
I would suppose the most important thing is, if you're a serious actor, you must act. If you're doing it for fame and recognition, you must then be realistic about the way you go about it, and what you're expecting from whatever you choose. As a performer, I like the craft, I like the craft. I take acting actually very seriously, even though you have to also be silly and frivolous, and really must have no problem making a fool of yourself. If you That's the thing. If you're going to have an ego where you don't want to be embarrassed to make a fool of yourself, don't go into this industry. You're going to be fighting with everyone. You're going to feel unhappy with. Um, you must have such a passion for the craft that that's part of the deal. So I would say focus on your craft and not how easily you are recognized, and was your name mentioned in the paper, and was your name mentioned in that review. We become so fixated on the external recognition that we sometimes forget to work on our own craft and just hone it and shape it. And if you feel you were like jy was 'n oversight, hulle het jou misgekyk, then you just go work harder. You work harder. You go work on that place in yourself where you can get so easily hurt if someone doesn't see you. That's the place you go work at. You don't lash out at the public and go how bad that reviewer is, and how we lash out so quickly. It's like, go back to yourself, go back to the drawing board, see what you can improve. You know, basically, my best advice for acting is, you must have a very healthy ego to do what we do. When that ego is healthy enough for you to be able to climb into another character's shoes and come back to yourself, that's great. Throw away the ego. For the rest, you have to throw away your ego. So it's this balancing act you do between having a healthy ego to deal with it, to smile, to be someone else and convince other people you are now this other character, but also to have no ego when it comes to certain parts of the industry, because it'll be a drawback. And most of us think we have to be the same all the time. You have to, if you're seen as an extrovert, then you must be an extrovert all the time. No, you don't have to. You can be an extrovert sometimes and be a little bit more quiet other times, without feeling that you have anything to prove, or that we get a little bit stuck on what the world expects of us, instead of what we expect from ourselves, and then see what the world thinks of that. So I'm getting very philosophical now, you see, as the sun goes down.
I mean, the conversation is valuable, and I don't think I think what you're saying is not only for acting. I think it's just things in general. If you want to pursue something, just kap aan, stop, don't stop. And then what's the highlight? I mean, in the 20th year? What's the one thing that you pinnacle, that you think, oh, this is the best time of my life?
That is a tough one. If I have to choose only one, because otherwise I'll have to say all of them, because I love all the productions, because every production brings you something. You don't do equally well in all of them to the outside world, but you learn something from every production. But if I have to choose my favorite, I would have to say the play Angels Everywhere. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's actually a play written by Abdurrahman Adams, and I co-wrote it. And then we also both played in it with two of our friends, Charlton George, which I'm sure you've heard of, and Grant Paarl, who's an actor, but also most famous for being a stuntman and a stunt coordinator, international. He works on international movies. And the four of us did this play, and Oscar Peterson directed. He doesn't like it when we say he directed it. He said he supervised it. We directed ourselves. That's Oscar. But he directed it according to us. Someone needs to stand outside and let us run free and wild like crazy people and tell us, no, don't go there, no. So Angels Everywhere was to me why it's my favorite. It proved to me that we can do our own thing, that we're not too lazy. Like people say, oh, yeah, you all want to do your own thing, but you're too lazy to. We're not too lazy. We must just have the right kind of motivation and be paid well. And if you can't be paid well, to be paid happily and on time and whatever you've been promised to be paid that. Because once you say yes, you're in. You don't moan after you said yes. And that showed us when we do put our energies together and we put our creative juices together and we keep discipline, even though we allow ourselves to roam freely, all four of us, we each have a very stern sense of discipline in our own craft, but in different areas, which means we really help each other. Where I will be stern in a certain area of the craft, the others will be lax. The others again will be more knowledgeable and get me in line. That was what made the collaboration so amazing, because everyone brought something and everyone brought something different, but whatever you brought made part of the whole. And it is the lekkerste acting I've ever done in one play. I got to play 4 or 5 different characters. Each of us got to play 4 or 5 different characters in one play. And Abdurrahman and I constructed it. So it was like knitting, a little bit of maths with a little bit of creativity. So Angels Everywhere, without a doubt, my all-time favorite. Yeah.
Is that publicly available, or can you watch it on YouTube? Where is it? I haven't
I
seen it.
actually, I actually don't know. It's possible because after the first couple of runs, I had my little daughter Rebecca and moved to George, and then our friend Bronwyn van Graan, whom we call Peach, that passed away a couple of years ago, sadly. She basically took over my role, and then she did most of the runs that were actually publicly seen. I was there the first, say, 2 or 3 runs of the play, but then it wasn't so so publicly known yet. And then I had to withdraw because I was pregnant, and then Peach stepped in, and yeah, they rocked it. People
Nice.
loved it. The play. It's just an awesome play. So I'm sure there's some media on it that you can check out. Yeah.
I'll definitely look for it. Yeah, madam. So I've got 10 questions here just to get to know you a bit better. We've got all the
Wow.
business out. We've got all the business out of the way now. So let me ask
I
you a few
thought we were
questions.
done. Now you ask 10 questions.
Yeah, but it's quick. You're gonna answer it quickly.
Cool. Shoot.
Your fondest childhood memory.
Sorry.
Your fondest childhood memory.
My fondest childhood memory, sitting in the Kalahari on a farm with nothing around you.
Okay, lovely,
Yeah.
lovely, nice. Pinch myself moment.
Ooh. When I became a mother.
Okay, okay,
For
interesting,
long, I
nice.
couldn't believe it. I would wake up in the morning and go, I dreamt I had a child. And then I
Mm.
realized I do have a child, and then have to rush to see if the child's still alive. Did I feed her? What's the time? Yeah, definitely becoming a
Okay.
mother.
What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I'm a massage therapist.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh, nice, interesting, very nice.
Yes.
Where do you get your inspiration? Why do you wake up in the morning, and who's your role model?
Um, my inspiration is my child because I have to wake up, because I have to take it to school. I have no choice about that inspiration. It's a good trade-off. uh, um, Role models, I can't really choose one. I think we get role models all the time, and we shouldn't get stuck on any one of them because they're all just people, and we should allow them to also be fallible after they've inspired
Mm,
us.
mm, mm. Nice.
I think it's
Um,
safe.
yeah, and who's the first person you call when something big happens in your life?
My mom.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
If you were president for the day, what are the first two things you'd change?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Um, can I phone a friend? Can I get a lifeline?
Okay, lifeline. You can only have one. Give me one.
One thing that I would change, um, I would, this is ambitious, but I would change the importance of art
Mm,
for being a balanced person.
mm, mm.
That's vague, but
Yeah,
that's where I would start.
yeah. Perfect answer. If you could invite three people to dinner, they could be dead or alive. Which three people would it be?
Okay, I'm gonna be really boring and say Madiba, definitely the first one. I
Okay.
know everyone says that, but I'm also allowed to say that. So Madiba first.
Most people say Beyonce before Madiba.
Oh, okay. No. It's all right. Beyonce. They can't wag for die second dinner. Um, so Madiba, Keanu Reeves, I would suppose,
Nice.
and Oprah. Let's be boring and say Oprah. Yeah, don't you
Oh,
think that
that's
will
a
be
nice.
an interesting combination of people?
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna have a chance to speak because there's just gonna be too much speaking at that table.
Absolutely. Oh my
Um,
word.
so if you were not an actress, well, what would you have been doing? Oh, you said medicine, eh?
I would be a Sangoma, I would suppose. I would be
Okay,
a shaman or
okay,
some village doctor of some kind. I would be the
okay.
one that lives there on the outskirts going crazy, and
Hmm,
people call,
hmm.
oh, the crazy woman is brewing some medicine again. Go ask the crazy woman on the outskirts of town. Yes, I would be that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, which one do you love more, stage or TV?
Wow. Yeah, I love them equally. I know people always say the stage, and
Hmm,
definitely the stage has got magic that no other place has, but
hmm.
so does the TV. There's something magical about that too. I love them equally.
Okay, perfect. And then just the last two questions. If you had a billboard up on the N1 and your face is there and there's a speech bubble from and your name, what would you want to tell the world every single day they drive past that billboard?
Hiraki Joel. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's a good
Because it
one.
has to happen then and then. Not tomorrow, not yesterday.
Mm, mm,
Today,
mm.
now. Hiraki Joel. This is the only moment we've got. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and then lastly, if we have the Stadsal for Ilsa Oppelt Foundation Day, and
Yeah.
Ilse Oppelt's on the stage, and you've got all these aspiring actors and actresses coming to hear your journey and your advice. Um, what are the top three things you would tell them to be successful in acting or actressing?
Um, okay. Yeah, you're asking tough ones. The first one will be to be yourself. And that
Mm,
is now not in a philosophical way. It means it's a practical thing. If you are going to go into a profession where you are going to put on different hats and costumes all the time and become different people, it is extra important to be yourself so that you know where to come back to after you've left to go and inhabit a different character in a different world. So I would say, firstly, be yourself so that you can be a great performer, but also so that you can be an authentic person, so that people can know who you are when you're not wearing a hat, when you're not wearing a costume. I think that's important so that you can have balance. The second thing would be don't take yourself too seriously. If if that's the case, you will not survive in this industry, and you might get where you want to be, but it's going to take you very long, and you're going to burn a lot of bridges when you get there. And when you do get there, which well, lots of people do get there, even though they take themselves very seriously. But when they do get there, it's a very lonely place, and then you have no one to share it with, and then the victory is kind of empty. Oh, I'm sounding philosophical again. And the last one is follow your bliss, go where the joy takes you. If you sometimes we say yes to gigs because we have to pay the bills, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's an honorable thing to do. We don't have that many opportunities in our industry to om jou nuus op te trek vir dit wat wel na jou kant toe kom nie. But But you must also go where the joy takes you. There's like a bliss station, like a liggie wat aangaan, of a ietsie wat jou laat voel, yeah, I have to go there. And sometimes it's not even practical, or the money is horrible, or whatever. But something tells you must go there, and then you follow that little thing. Not always the money or the logic but you follow your bliss. I think if you follow your bliss, you can never really make a mistake. Because even if it doesn't work out the way you want to, you would have had fun while you're doing it, and then you choose something else. It's not that you get only one chance. Life gives you a million chances to do it again and again and again. It's not just one chance. So follow your bliss. If it's not the one you want to do, you say, oh, okay, cool, I tried it. Let's try the next one. And then you carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often that I get to speak to an actress that has been there 20 years, so I got a few more questions. Um, was there, was there ever a time where you thought, this is not for me, it's too much hard work, it is my passion, but I need to get something else?
I leave the industry on average twice a year.
Okay.
At least twice a year I go, this is not my thing. This is not my thing. Um, but you know what? Once you're part of the industry, you can never not be part of the industry. That is what I've learned. I tried to leave this industry so many times because I go, oh, it's shallow, and oh, I'm a horrible celebrity. I can't do this the media rounds and be so. I mean, I love my friends who are graceful about it, and they teach me a lot, but I will never be that one. I can learn from them on how to be better in that situation, but I have to be honest about who I am. I'm too selfish about my own time. So yes, on average, I leave the industry twice a year, and now I've learned you should actually stop leaving the industry and just go do something else if you want to go. But don't say you're going to leave the industry, because once you're in it, and if you've been in it for 20 years, your whole base, your friend base, your colleague base, it's in this industry. I can never extricate myself from it. So yeah, I definitely often think this is not for me, but they say the theater is a jealous mistress, and indeed she is. Acting is a jealous mistress. Once she has you, she doesn't let you go. You can go and go do other things, and she'll rake you right back when you least want it. She'll find you. You run, but you cannot hide.
Yeah, and then also, I like this Afrikaans word that my skoonma told me. But what else is op jou kerfstok?
Oh, my kerfstok.
Like, what are the big dreams? What's still in store?
You're in this time and age where everything is so up in the air. It's extra tough. But I feel a kind of an organic move towards the healing arts, in terms of when lockdown was announced, the day the first lockdown was announced, I just received the last of 7 qualifications as a massage therapist that I've been studying since last year. So I haven't really had time to flex my muscles and see what I can do. I've only finished, I just qualified before lockdown started, and then, the rule was don't touch anyone. And I chose the most tactile profession. Touching is like part of the deal, it's not negotiable. But yes, I feel there's a move to that, and like I say, I will probably never completely leave the industry like you can leave behind other things, but there is a move towards something a little bit more solid. um, Acting is effervescent. You can do something now and record it and forget about it, and then 2 3 months later it pops up somewhere. Then you already moved on in your brain, but so acting is effervescent like that, bu- but the healing arts, massaging, and so on. It's very much the opposite of acting. You have to leave your ego at the door. No ego, none of your own baggage, because it's not cool to work on people with your own nafs, sal jy weet jy jou eie goedes daar inbring nie. Um yeah, and besides ego, it's immediate. Um if you did a great job, you'll know immediately. And it's another ego trip. You can get stuck there too, because you made someone feel better, but the feedback is immediate, like theater, where if you make a joke, they laugh there. If your joke falls, it falls there. You die on stage there. So that is why people like the theater, because the feedback is immediate, whereas TV and film doesn't work like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I promise you this will be the last one.
No, it's
Um,
cool. I'm having fun, Miles, really.
um, so, I mean, in terms of your acting, in terms of acting, what's the next big thing for you, sir? I mean, you are an award-winning actress. You've been in movies, big movies. You've been in series, big series. I mean, you have been in the background for Arensvlei, big, Seven Land, big. I mean, it looks like you in the background with a lot of things that a lot of people don't know. But
Yeah.
what's I mean, what's like people that follow you would know, and people close to you would know what you're doing. But what's the next? What's next for you? I mean, you always have dreams. What's in acting and in acting?
In acting, I don't really know. It's everything is up in the air at the moment. Acting, I think 20 years is okay. If I let my focus go to a different place now, it's going to be fine. But if I do act again, it'll probably be some hot shit something that I've created myself and that I produce with like-minded people, because doing the sheep acting for other people's stories is no longer. I mean, I'm not dissing what I've done so far, but it's pretty much being a pawn in someone else's game. They treat you well, you get paid well, you do interesting things, you work with awesome people, but you are not part of your own creation, or even sometimes your own belief system. You're playing in a belief system that's not yours, but for that gig, you suspend your own belief system to do your job. There's merit and there's power in that too, and you learn some things there too. But for future projects, I want to do things that move me. I want to do things where the message is significant and substantial, and not just acting cannot just be entertainment. That's the first gig, but I think that's the payoff. That shouldn't even be what you strive for. That should be a given, you know. But something with a message, where where I say what I want to say in the way I want to say it, without all the censorship, without sometimes people that have no clue of your state of mind or the message you want to send, they're the ones funding you. So you have to dance to their tune. It's how the world works. There's nothing wrong with it. It's how we do it. But there is also that other part, a smaller part of the industry, where people are breaking away and doing work with cultural significance, with emotional significance, men doing things about strong men who cry, without apology, going, just smashing stereotypes and going, yeah, if I'm going to do any acting, serious acting from here onwards, it will probably be in productions that move me and stir me and that bring positive messages. And if it's a negative message, it's something that people must see because they keep themselves blind to it, because we must expose certain things. So yeah, something with weight and significance, and that people vibe with. It cannot just be entertaining. It has to be informative or transformative if you're lucky. Yeah, if not that, I'll probably not do itty bitty parts in stuff just for the sake of doing it. There's a time for that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think my time for that's now past.
Yeah.
I can say now what I want to do, and say no to the things that don't move me.
And I mean, and okay, that's the acting platform. What about the behind the scenes, behind the screen, the writing? What are those? What are the big plans for, or big dreams for behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes, I'm everywhere. This is what people don't know. I'm everywhere. I have fingers in a lot of pies. I work on almost all major productions in some way, shape, or form. Friends like sending their scripts to me to check it, to see what's up, what's wrong, what needs to be done. I call myself the script surgeon because I do script surgery. Go cut out the dead wood and say, what's this doing here? So in that way, in a kind of an informal way, I'm pretty much logged in on a lot of accounts. And I like it like that because I believe in scripting being the first point of success. If you get your script right, everything from that point onwards down the line will go smoothly, and you'll be able to sort it out quickly. But people spend too little time on script and think they're going to fix it in post, they're going to fix it on the day, they're going to fix it on set, the director will fix it. No, actually, you should fix it. You fix what you can before that thing leaves your hands, before it goes to other people, because then a team of 50 other professionals will tear it apart with it. Everyone has their little thing to do. So I like being part of the process like that, and because lots of times I go check a play or a thing and I go, yo, if you sent me that script beforehand, I would have just saved you a lot of trouble. And I started telling people that, and they actually started sending me their stuff. And then I'm not for everyone. My brand of honesty is not for everyone, and writers are very fragile. Not all writers are tough and strong. But the ones who can take it, they like my honesty. And I'm not precious. You can take it, you can leave it, you can use it, you cannot use it. It's up to you. Then I don't go back, oh, but I said you must do that and look at your play. I don't do that. I'm just happy that I could say my piece before. And if it falls apart and that thing that I said you didn't listen to, you will know. I don't have to tell you, you'll know.
Yeah.
So I don't take pride in it, or ek kry nie lekker as mense nie na my geluister het nie, because but what I do know is next time I give a note, they will listen. They won't say sorry, but they will listen. And that's also cool because in my small little way, I'm 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 changing things in a microscopic way, even if it's just to show people this is a way you can do it that's more positive or productive. If I can let one person be aware of that, with one gig, then that's cool, because next time they'll use a little bit more consideration when they write. They'll use a little bit more planning. They'll think about things. They call it high concept writing, when the story you write is already thinking about everyone else along the line, up to that little part in the newspaper where where they go, today's movie, and you have 2 lines, you think all of it. And with high concept writing is actually a gentlemanly or ladylike way of writing, in the sense that you write hardcore, but you think about everyone along the line. You don't write fantastical scenes that'll be financially impossible to produce just because you had an inspiration. You take that inspiration and you see what practical option you can, what practical alternative is there that gives you the same vibe. That's high concept writing, because you're thinking about the production side's finances, and you're thinking about the poor set person who has to go build this. It's like, yeah, I like that vibe where you write thinking about your whole family, not just you in your little cocoon there, dreaming up things that other people must make real. That's what script writers do. They sit
Yeah.
on their island, they dream up things, and then they leave it to other people to make it happen. And that's
Yeah.
great stuff. It's actually very powerful. And if you use that power wisely, you can come up with some awesome stuff, and people like you. When your stuff shoots easily, when your dialogue flows lekker on a character, on an actor's mouth, and when it shoots easily and it has a rhythm, people on the floor start liking your stuff. Not just the actors, the crew like it then, if they know it's your script, because they know there's a reputation that comes with it. And that's my fame. That's how I like to be famous. That people whom I will probably never meet get to like my scripts because I thought of them. That's like, for me, real fame. So
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just talking now. I'm
No,
just
no, no.
chatting.
It sounds more like high consideration scripting than high contrast scripting.
Okay. Nothing wrong with a little bit of that, eh? Who can't do any of a little bit
Um,
more considerate?
yeah, yeah, and I mean, okay, this is really my last one. Will we ever see a Ilsa Oppelt directed or produced movie?
There's always a chance, yeah. Yes.
Okay,
I would
good,
not exclude that possibility at all. Yes.
good. That's op die kerfstok.
Op die kerfstok, ja.
And then, okay, final last one. What South African movie should every South Africa be watching? Or
When
should watch?
in future,
Anyone that's out already. Like one that is really, really good.
you cannot ask that of a film person. I have a whole library of things people should
Okay.
watch.
Okay, maybe we should get a Ilsa Oppelt movie list.
Compilation, yes, that's a good one. I
Christmas
wouldn't know.
list.
I wouldn't know. Too
Um,
many, too many, too many.
Madam, you see my timing is perfect. I said an hour and we're on 57
Nice.
minutes. So
Great
I
stuff.
want to thank you because I know your time is very precious. I want to thank you so much for your hour and the time you spent with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me and having such a nice chat with me. I'm very impressed with Paarl. Paarl never forgets me. That's very cool.
Yeah, now have a safe rest of 2020. Have an
Thank
awesome
you.
2021. All the best, all the luck and all the best wishes for all those dreams that are on the kerfstok.
Thank
Um,
you very much. Thanks.
yeah,
Thanks.
and it was really enjoyed George. But normally, I just before you go, there's a few messages from people. I don't know if you can see them, but Ralph
No, I
Kibero
can't
says
see.
good. Ralph Kibero says good evening. Ernestine Julie says Ilse Oppel harkie harkie. Chanel van der
Yes.
Kerk says hi Ilse Oppel harkie harkie.
Nice.
Basil Apollo says 2 messages. He says, must I come to George to see if you're a better massage therapist?
These are all friends and family so far. They're
Yeah.
all friends and family. That's
He says
awesome.
lovely stuff. Ilse, and then Colin Aronson says, "You go girl, love from Moray of Moray." I don't know what. I don't know. Is
Oh,
Moray?
thank you, Paul. You're always loyal. Yeah, that's awesome.
Madam, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And goodbye.
Thank you. Have a lovely, lovely festive season and be safe. And thanks for this lovely chat, eh?
Yes, we must. We're waiting for Ilsa Oppelt's top 10 South African
Formula.
movie list.
Okay, cool. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
got you on WhatsApp, so I can be lastig. Don't worry.
Okay, nah, is my out is nou out.
Madam,
No, cool. Thank you so much.
thank you so much. Okay, goodbye. Bye, guys.
Bye bye. Bye bye, Paul. It was awesome.